I know, a new video for me. This is crazy, isn't it? But if there's one thing I can do a video for, it is Star Wars. So, where do I begin with this? Oh, there's so much to talk about with this movie. So it's no secret that I haven't been consistent with videos for well over a year now. But every time I come back making more videos, it usually is sparked by some sort of Star Wars related thing. Last fall it was the teaser trailer, back in April it was the Star Wars Celebration, and now here in December is the release of the Star Wars The Force Awakens. I love Star Wars so much, the original trilogy, 3 of my all-time favorite movies. This isn't going to be a typical review. I'm not going to break down the good, the bad, all those things about the movie. I'm just gonna kind of start rambling basically and tell you my thoughts on the movie, Star Wars, where I think Star Wars is going in the future. But anyways, I went into this movie, I had huge expectations for it. Me and my friends, the showing started at 7, we got in line at like 12 o'clock during the day, we were playing Monopoly while we were in line, and I was very cautious with this movie. Well, first of all, marketing wise, I try to stay away from spoilers. I watched the main trailers, but other than that, stayed away from like TV spots, interviews. And then, like, for the week leading up to it, I just did a full internet blackout. And as Star Wars fans, we've been burned in the past with the prequels. So I went into this, I wanted to like it, but I was nervous. I was scared that it was going to suck. And I wanted to see it a couple times just to make sure that what I thought about the movie is actually what I thought about it. And I wasn't just buying into the hype. So now the movie's been out for about 2 weeks. 7 viewings later, I loved this movie. Star Wars is back. And I'm so happy I get to say that. Oh, that's so cool. And by the way, this video is going to contain spoilers for The Force Awakens because the movie's been out for 2 weeks, and I figured if you wanted to go see the movie that you've already seen it. If not, go see it. It's a great movie. And then come back and watch this video. There is so much to love about this movie. First of all, the characters are amazing. Their banter, the dialogue was so good. It was so natural. It was the kind of stuff that we got in the original trilogy because George Lucas has never been good at writing dialogue. Back in the 70s and early 80s, while he was still proving himself, people were able to change their lines. Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher, they ad-libbed or changed a lot of their scenes. And just made it flow so much more natural. So in the prequels, that's why the acting became so wooden and stale. It was the script they were given. But in this movie, we have Lawrence Kasdan coming back to help write. He wrote Empire Strikes Back. And the chemistry between all these characters just gelled so well between Daisy and Finn and Poe and BB-8 and Harrison Ford, Han Solo, and Chewbacca. Speaking of which, Harrison Ford was excellent in this movie. Like, I don't know if this movie's going to be getting a lot of Oscars. I feel like Harrison Ford should at least get nominated. I might sound crazy right there, but Harrison Ford was not Harrison Ford in this movie. He was Han Solo. The acting all around the charts was great. I hate to say it, but this is probably the best acted Star Wars movie. I know, it's not the best Star Wars movie. I will say I do like Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back more than The Force Awakens. But as far as the acting goes, even in the original trilogy, Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher had a couple scenes where maybe they didn't deliver their dialogue as good as Daisy Ridley and John Boyega and Oscar Isaac did in this movie. So great performances all around, even though some characters got sidelined like Captain Phasma, but she'll be in the next one, so it's whatever. I'm okay with the story that we got. She didn't need to really be in it that much, so I don't really care that she got sidelined for The Force Awakens. The effects in this movie were amazing too. The puppets, the so little CGI. It reminded me of the original trilogy and movies like Labyrinth and movies like the original Jurassic Park where he blended CG and puppets. And it looked so good. It was so believable. Admiral Akbar, when you see him on in the Ilenium system, the Resistance base, he looked real. They went back to using models for the ships. The X-Wings looked amazing when they were flying around on Maz Kanata's planet. I actually believe they were there on Starkiller Base too. There's a couple scenes in this movie where I saw it the first time and I was like, okay, this is cool, but I would like to focus on other things. But the more I watch the movie, the more I love those scenes. Mainly all the stuff with Maz Kanata and then the X-Wing dogfight on Starkiller Base where they're trying to blow up the planet at the end. Especially the Starkiller Base thing. The first time I saw it, I was kind of like, okay, this is interesting enough, but I want to get back to watching Rey and Kylo Ren have their lightsaber fight. But the more I watch that scene, it's just so exciting and fun, and Poe's, like, his excitement and his character helped us carry that whole scene. And you get the return of Neenub, who is one creepy looking alien, but it's okay because he's awesome and he helps co-pilot the Millennium Falcon. On more than a few occasions in this movie, I let out some serious fanboy squeals. Of course, the opening title crawl, but then another one I remember very vividly was when Finn and Rey, they're on Jakku and they're running from the TIE fighters and they're trying to get to that quad jumper, and then Finn's all like, what about that ship? And then Rey goes, that ship's garbage. And then the quad jumper blows up and she's all, the garbage will do, and then it pans over and you see the Millennium Falcon. Guys, that scene was incredible. In that scene, I was screaming so loud I had to like bury my face in my popcorn bucket so I can muffle myself. And one of the main criticisms I've heard of this movie is that it borrows way too many plot points from the original Star Wars movie. All I gotta say to that is, guys, Joseph Campbell, The Hero's Journey. For those of you guys that don't know, Joseph Campbell was, I believe he was a philosopher. Anyways, he outlined this thing which he called The Hero's Journey. Basically gives you an outline for every single story ever told. And whether you're looking at the original Star Wars trilogy, Back to the Future, The Matrix, Pirates of the Caribbean, Harry Potter, they all have these same similar overtones. And nowhere in The Hero's Journey does it say that a little robot has to be carrying plans that have to get to the Resistance. And it also doesn't say that there has to be a giant planet destroying spherical weapon that the enemy has. So yes, those plot points were borrowed a little bit from the original Star Wars movie. But I'm okay with it because it was cool. And I think with this first movie in the trilogy, they needed to play it kind of safe because Star Wars fans have just been dragged through the mud for the last 20 years now. And so they had to be like, hey guys, you can trust us. The franchise is in good hands, because a lot of people also did not like the idea of Disney buying Lucasfilm. I thought it was awesome, but a lot of people were like, oh no, Star Wars is dead, it's gonna die, it's gonna be all Disney-fied, it's gonna be terrible now. I've never really understood those complaints, but they still needed to show that the franchise was in good hands, and I think they did with this movie. So then in episodes 8 and 9, they can start to take it in new directions and explore the galaxy a little bit more. But for this one, yeah, make it a little bit safer. And while we're on the topic of plot points borrowed from the first Star Wars movie, oh, I'm gonna cry. Okay, I can do this. I'm ready. No, not ready. Okay. So you find out earlier in the movie that Kylo Ren is Han Solo's son, in a scene that the dialogue is a little too expositionary, I think. That was kind of one of my minor complaints with the film, is that it had a little too much expositionary dialogue. But anyways, back to the matter at hand. So you find that part out, and then Han and Leia are talking, and Leia is all like, oh, you think I want to forget him? I want him back. And if you see our son, try to talk to him, try to convince him. And then you're on Starkiller Base, and Han and Chewie are laying their explosives. Then Kylo Ren walks out onto the bridge, and then Han Solo goes out, and he's all, Ben! Then after that, I was like, Han, what are you doing? You're gonna die. Han, what are you, no, stop walking towards him. And I was just like, okay, Han is dying, and this sucks. This is a sucky day. But then once Kylo Ren starts talking, and he's saying, I want to be free of this pain, I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it. I was just like, maybe he won't die? And then, once Kylo Ren put out his lightsaber, and Han grabbed it, I was just like, I don't even know what's going to happen at this point. And then all of a sudden you just see, boom, that lightsaber goes straight through Han Solo. Rey and Chewie just let out these huge screams. And then Han Solo touches his face, bends, and then just falls. And he dies. And Han Solo's gone forever. I really felt that lightsaber too. That's one thing I liked about this movie, is that the sound effects had a really good punch to them. But when that lightsaber went through Han Solo, I felt like I was getting just punched in the chest or something like that. I get that Harrison Ford wanted to kill off Han in the original trilogy and then George wouldn't let him. And I get that he didn't really want to come back for the sequel trilogy. But all I'm going to say is, Harrison Ford, you gave us one last great performance as Han Solo. That's more that can be said about Indiana Jones. You gave this performance your all. I'm so happy to see it. It's going to suck to see the character of Han Solo go, but you did a great job. Then we get a pretty sweet lightsaber battle between Kylo Ren and Finn gets his butt whooped. He did land a couple of sweet hits on Kylo Ren though, there was one point he got his shoulder or something like that. And the way that fight starts was really sweet. Kylo Ren's all beating his chest and stuff, and he points his lightsaber at Finn and goes, that lightsaber, it belongs to me. And then Finn's all, come and get it. It was a cheesy one-liner, but I was in the moment, and every single time I've seen this movie now, I just think that line is awesome. I loved it. Then Finn gets sliced up the spine. I thought the dude was dead, but apparently he's fine. And then, this is a scene that I almost cried in. I just got so excited. And I'm just gonna, okay, you guys know what the scene is. It's when Kylo Ren is reaching for Luke's lightsaber in the snow, and then all of a sudden it launches out, it zooms past Kylo Ren, and then Rey picks it up, and then the Force theme starts playing. I heard people applauding in the theater, people cheering. I was so happy. That was the moment when I was just like, Star Wars is back. You could just feel it, you know? Is that feeling you got in the original trilogy, that mystic, awesome power that was the Force. It's back. It's awakened. And Kylo Ren and Rey, they struggle for a little bit in a pretty dirty and awesome looking lightsaber fight. Like, if I were fighting with a lightsaber, this is pretty much how I would fight, I think. And Rey uses the Force and she bests Kylo Ren, and a lot of people have issue with this part too. I think it's totally fine. Kylo Ren has been out of practice with a lightsaber. He hasn't gone up against anyone with a lightsaber since he's been Kylo Ren, basically, since Luke disappeared. Who knows how long that's been? My guess is about 10 years. And even Plagueis knows, like, Kylo Ren isn't, you know, he's not the strongest lightsaber wielder. He was just kind of the disposable, you know, get this mission done until I waste you and get a new apprentice type of guy. But then at the end of the movie, Plagueis tells General Hux, he's all, bring Kylo Ren to me. It's time to complete his training. And I was just like, oh yeah, so the next time that Rey and Kylo Ren meet, it's just gonna be like business. And then R2-D2 comes out kind of out of left field with the map leading to Luke. I'm sure they'll explain this in later movies, but I'm of the theory that Luke somehow activated R2 with the Force, or he programmed R2 to reactivate once Han died, or they found Rey because Rey's Luke's daughter. Another theory that I believe in. And then after that, Rey, R2, and Chewie, they go to the island where Luke is. Rey climbs the mountain. You see Luke finally. But one quick thing I want to point out. If you freeze frame it when the camera is panning towards Luke's back, you'll see in like the bottom left-hand corner, there's a rock propped up like a headstone, and there's a little mound of dirt next to it. What is that? I have no idea. One of my friends said maybe it's Luke's wife? Maybe Kylo Ren murdered Luke's wife when he destroyed all the Jedi, and then Luke was ashamed and he ran and hid, and he took his wife's body with him and buried her there. I have no idea, but it just looks suspicious. I'm just curious, what is that? Does it have any significance? And then once Rey hands Luke his lightsaber, it's this sweet, awesome moment. And maybe I'm reading too much into this scene, but here's basically what I saw. In the original trilogy, Luke Skywalker was us. He was our eyes into this new world that we were discovering. And we have not seen Luke Skywalker for 30 years. It's been a long time. We've had to trudge through the prequels and the stupid Clone Wars movie, although the Clone Wars TV show is pretty cool. But we've just been lacking in a good Star Wars movie for so long. And when Rey handed Luke that lightsaber, I just had this feeling of like, this is JJ handing Star Wars back to us, the fans. Because you see Luke and he looks beaten down and tired, but when Rey hands him that lightsaber, it's just, all I'm saying is that scene impacted me a lot personally with my experiences of Star Wars. And Star Wars is back. I've said that so many times in this video, I don't even care. I'm really excited. I'm really happy that J.J. Abrams just did a great job with this movie. I applaud him for using practical effects and John Williams' amazing score and getting great performances out of all of his actors. If you want a grade for this movie, it's an A. Not an A+, just because of some of the expositionary dialogue and a couple of the plot similarities to A New Hope, which does kind of have like a been there, done that type feel to it. But other than that, this movie's amazing. I loved it. I'm gonna see it multiple times again. I'm gonna go buy it out on Blu-ray day one. And I can't wait to see what they do with episodes 8 and 9 and the spin-off movies, including Rogue One, which is coming out now this year as I'm filming this in 2016. So Star Wars, The Force Awakens. What did you guys think about it? What are your thoughts on the movie? Comment down below. Let me know if you, your favorite parts about the movie, least favorite parts. Maybe we can have a little discussion about it. And thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I want to put out more videos. It's more of just like a time thing for me. Like, I love making videos. I love talking movies. I just don't have the time to edit them as much as I would like. But here's to 2016. Here's to Deadpool. Here's to Civil War. Here's to, what's that one movie coming out that I wanted to see? That was vague. Point is, there's a lot of cool movies coming out in 2016. I want to talk about as many of them as I can. So I can't make any promises, but I'm hoping to make more videos in the future. So if you guys like this video, then maybe you can click and subscribe. and you'll be in touch for when my next video comes out. But I'll see you guys next time, and may the Force be with you.